You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Monday edition of the show. No, it's Thursday. God damn. Let's get into it with the lead. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday. The show's a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Liam, today feels like a Monday, but it's a Thursday. Yesterday felt like a Sunday. It was a Wednesday.
And we've already done 2 shows this week.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Anyways, welcome into the show live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. They did some banging Boxing Day sales, by the way. You got to get in on. Christmas tree is gone behind me in our setup. We added a couple of new things. We put the hockey gloves on the fireplace. Don't love that now that I'm seeing it on camera.
No?
We got this ON Everyday sign in the middle. I like that.
Taped up.
Yeah, well,
I
the
like
people
the
would have
hockey
never known that.
Because what if they were wet? You gotta dry them out.
Try them out. But we need some idea for something to do in our backdrop.
Let's ask the chat. What do they think?
That's why I'm putting it out there. What do you guys think? What can we add behind us? Need some good ideas.
How about some merchandise over Liam's shoulder as well? You should buy at nationgear.ca.
NationGear.ca, the Play La Bamba hoodie.
There you go.
That is one of my favorite things we've dropped, is that version of our Play La Bamba stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
The record
I
player
never got my hands on that one.
What's
I have this one. This is a 1 of 1, I believe, that I have on right now. Even Jay asked me where I got this from.
Good perk of working here. Every once in a while, you'll just stumble into like some test product we did. And it's like, oh, well, I'm the only one that has it.
Very comfortable. I don't know what size it is. I'm worried to pick it up.
All right. Let's see what people want us to add. Mr. Burns, citizen art. That actually is a pretty decent idea. Final Buzzer said switch the black curtains, but then it would just be windows. So we don't want that.
We'd be very exposed.
Yeah, we would be. Dangerous Wade need a 1.5 size life-size cutout of Waz. No, that's frightening.
I'll bring that from home.
We get Waz immediately after every show. Somehow Waz just stands at the door and waits for us, and then
he does.
Knock, knock, knock.
It's because he misses when we used to do the show downstairs.
Yeah, and he used to stand at the door the whole show.
Alex Sanford said add a jersey. Yeah, the Oilers would sue us pretty quick. Gangster chain. I don't like those chains. I think they've become overplayed.
Chains?
You know the big ones they sell? I don't think they're called gangster
familiar
chains.
I have always wanted to invest.
Dude, you see people wearing them at the games all the time. They got the big foam logo.
The circle thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant
I want to
something
invest
else.
in one of those big hats. You know, like the football.
Oh,
players
yeah,
in
yeah.
interviews. I think
Goodness.
that would hit.
I think that is the dumbest thing ever.
I think they're funny. I don't know.
Did you hear Alexander the other day? And he was wearing it massive. He's like, I'm the best corner in the league. It's like, come on, you cannot say stupid things and wear that hat.
Ryan Spakowski's in with one. Did anyone get tickets to the next dog patch party? That is a good reminder that our next dog patch party, again, we said we wanted to make it like a bit of a monthly watch along meet up for people. Our next Nation Citizens watch party is coming up on January 16th. Oilers Avs, by the way, giddy up. It'll be a great game presented by our friends at Odd Company and the all new Nation Beer, happening right below us in the bar. That's like 2 levels below us at Dog Patch. We had a blast doing our Christmas party with everyone. We're excited to do it again. This time, we're going to raise some money for our friends at Free Play for Kids. So tickets are $10. You can get them now, nationgear.ca, and that $10 just goes to Free Play for Kids. So it's a donation to get you into the party. Reserve your table, nationgear.ca. We're already moving units on this bad boy. And since we're on the topic of things you can buy at nationgear.ca, let me also say that the trip to Vegas is live and it is moving. I was just downstairs talking with Kennedy about it because I had some questions, but they're moving units. Nation Vacation, we're going back to Vegas. It's presented by Flair Airlines, March 30th to April 2nd. Your flights, your hotel, your hockey, your transportation to and from the airport, it is all covered in your Nation Vacation to Vegas. I'm excited. I love Vegas. We're staying at Circa on Fremont. If you've never stayed on Fremont, once you stay at Circa on Fremont, I will never stay anywhere else in Vegas again. No? I loved being out there. It was so much fun. The pool, full access to stadium swim, the swim up sports bar or sports book.
Yeah, that would be an experience. I'm curious about this one. Vegas is always a great time. My first Nation Vacation was Vegas.
It was.
I think Aaron's too. And I ran across one of the bridges to the store, grabbed some bananas in the morning. It's delightful. Great walk at 11 a.m.
That's morning in Vegas. 11 a.m. is still, that is bright and early. Anyways, you can join us this year at nationgear.ca if you want to get in, but don't wait because it is already moving. All right, Liam, here's what's coming up today on the show. Oh, you got to.
Wise Kyle doesn't believe us about the Oilers jerseys. He said they can't do that. I was like,
Trust me, bro. Trust me.
Why would I make that up?
Hey, if you go back to a certain date on our show, you'll notice there is no more logos anywhere to be seen.
My brother-in-law got me this really nice Oilers sweater for Christmas, and I was like, man, this is great. And I was like, I can't wear it on the show.
You remember that really sweet Oilers jacket, that Mitchell and Ness jacket?
That is
all the
dope.
time?
Can't wear it.
Can't wear that anymore.
I'm suing is probably not the right word to use, but anyways,
They're
there's a reason we don't
letting
know.
us know they're not happy.
Yeah. All right. We got Tyler Ennis coming up in a little bit. Does he have the link?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Enzo has the link. He'll join us. We're going to talk about a handful of different things with him. But first, Liam, there was an Oilers game since the last time we played, and they took down the Utah Hockey Club in I would call relatively predictable fashion. It wasn't maybe the 6-1 win I was hoping it would be, but they handled Utah 4-1, a game that never really felt in doubt. By the time there were 8 minutes left in the second period, they had already hit the 30-shot mark.
Yeah.
Like they peppered Utah early in that game, which I love. They're going up against the goalie who didn't have a lot of experience. Let's break that game down for our friends over at Charm Diamond Centers. You can get a custom ring built and delivered in less than 4 weeks through Charm and their Masterpiece program. And it all comes with their unbeatable pricing policy. Want to find out more? Go to charmdiamondcenters.com. You can even apply for a Charm Diamond Flexity card and get approved for no interest financing on your purchase in minutes. Proudly Canadian owned and operated. charmdiamondcenters.com. Liam knows all about Charm Diamond Centers and their Masterpiece program.
I'm very familiar with their work.
Mm-hmm.
They do a great job.
They do. The ring
and
looks
a lot
beautiful.
of other people now think they do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
If you're picking up what I'm laying down.
Exactly.
People like the ring.
People like the ring. Oilers started the scoring 4:26 into the game. Mattias Ekholm, his 6th of the season. Mattias Ekholm on pace to score north of 12 goals this season. And honestly, he could have had 3 in this first second period run against Utah. Like he was all over them. But this one here just picks the corner off a bit of a scramble. What line was on the ice? The second line. Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson. I thought they had another tremendous game.
Yeah, the only line that stuck together. From the opening puck drop from the Anaheim game too. It is, I think, the biggest difference between all this is Arvidsson has started to find his game a little bit more, right, since coming back from injury. And he said sitting in the press box actually helped him slow down his game quite a bit and see what he actually needed to do to make things better, I guess you could say. And yeah, I think Podkolzin was probably due for a point here. So great job by him to dig the puck out and then get it back to Ekholm. That's a score.
Good goal. 1-0 Oilers, feeling pretty good. But, however, Utah did manage to tie the game up. Jack McBain, his 10th of the year. This dude's going to score 20 goals. He was actually at one point in his career a pretty highly regarded prospect, but he didn't want to sign with Carolina, I believe. By the way, credit to both Sportsnet and Seg Media for the highlights on this. Seg Media, huh?
Do we need to credit them?
I don't even know. They should be crediting us for using their highlights. Sorry, Seg Media. Jack McBain from Dylan Gunther, who picked up a point in his homecoming. He's played here before, obviously, with Arizona, but it's always fun to watch Dylan Gunther, a guy we both covered in the WHL, playing in the NHL. We're going to get to bold predictions in a bit, but mine is that Dylan Gunther is going to be a star in the NHL. His stock will rise exponentially in 2025. He's
a legit goal scoring threat every time out there, and we did get a chance to cover him. That was a good time to cover the Oil Kings. But either way, Jack McBain, when we played Utah on just before the nation vacation, what was that, mid-November, I think it was? Is that right? November 19th? Something like that? There was an article that came out from Andre Tournier. That's the coach.
Head coach,
Arizona. No, Arizona, Utah, formerly Arizona. And he said the only player on his team all season that he would give an A grade was Jack McBain.
Wow.
And he is a guy who, he's
a big boy too, eh?
Oh, yeah. His shot prop might be the best under in the league.
Under?
He shoots like once a game.
I'm fact checking you.
He's pretty consistent. I remember.
Last 3 games, 2-2-5.
What about before that, though?
Before that, 0-1-1-0-1-1.
There you go. I knew I was right at one point.
I
did hit it once. The only under I've ever hit.
Also, can you run the Ekholm goal one more time, Aaron? Southpaw, did Sportsnet have the second period up when it was the first period? That just threw me for a major loop because I was sitting here and I'm like, oh, Ekholm opens the scoring in the first period. Then I was like, I watched this, and that's why I was like, Ekholm in the first and second period could have scored 3 goals. No, he could have scored 3 in the first period. I was definitely correct in thinking that.
What did Saginaw Media say?
SEG. It apparently stands for Smith and Entertainment Group.
Sega Media.
Sega Media.
Either way,
whatever.
They probably got it right.
Let's keep cruising along. It's 1-1 heading into the second period. Actually heading into the second period, I may add. And then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, his 8th of the year. Liam, this little charge Nugent-Hopkins is putting together is getting him closer and closer to being on pace to be a 20-goal guy once again this season for the Oilers. This here, just a bit of a sloppy turnover by Utah. Decent stick, I suppose, by Nuge. And another one of the many examples of when you're watching a play and we're all going, shoot the puck, Connor. And then he passes it and he scores, and you go, right, yeah, Connor McDavid knows what he's doing.
Yeah, the guy knows how to play. Nuge, yeah, he's definitely got to get his rates up quite a bit. He's on pace right now for only 45 points over the season, but I think he's going to be able to get over 50. He's way too talented and playing with too many talented players to kind of not go on a bit of a streak here where it's like, oh, no, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on a 5-game point streak or something like that, you know? So, yeah, Nuge just knowing how to play with Connor, keeping his stick on the ice.
Yeah, good goal. 2-1 Oilers. They do not look back from there. Troy Stetcher just 20 seconds later taps in his third of the season. Connor Brown gets 2 assists in a 20-second stretch as well. Right off the goal, the Oilers go right back down the other way. And again, the Oilers way better as a possession, grind them down team, but they still have the skill to do these sort of quick strikes. Also, you said it before the show, if Stuart Skinner gives up a goal like that, he gets killed by the Oilers fan base. Jackson Stauber definitely wants that one back.
Totally. This was a terrible goal, to be honest. Troy Stetcher barely gets the puck off the ice, but you know what? Like, that's what you got to do against young goalies is just get right back to them, and that's what the Oilers did. Like I said, 20 seconds after, they're back in front and probably going through that goalie's head is like, damn, I can't give up another one right away.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. And the Oilers did a good job of keeping him busy, which they didn't do against Dostal.
Utah with a decent little push in the third period, but I thought the Oilers kept their structure pretty well. Skinner had to make a couple of big saves, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Edmonton gets outshot 10-6, but Leon Draisaitl fires home an empty netter, his 27th of the year. I believe that's his first empty net goal of the season, meaning he is just 5 back of Kirill Kaprizov, who everyone is calling the runaway Hart Trophy favorite right now. Not everybody, I'm joking. But Leon Draisaitl buries one into the empty net. Man, 27 goals on the year. He's on pace for well north. He's pretty much on pace for 60 at this point.
I wrote predictions for over the Christmas break for the rest of the season. I said he'll crush 60 and win the Hart. Is that another Hart? The Hart,
the Rocket,
both.
Hart Rocket,
Rocket Hart,
Rocket,
and
Rocket
Lady.
Hart. Conn Smythe,
and Lady Bing.
Lady Bing Conn Smythe. 4 awards for Draisaitl. What else can we work him into the conversation for? Selke, Bing, Rocket, Hart, Conn Smythe.
Bill Masterson.
I'm not sure if he's overcome much the burden of making a lot of money. He signs a new. I think Leon Draisaitl. That's adversity he's overcome. Maybe a lot of
planning a wedding whilst playing hockey.
That's adversity.
Mm-hmm. It's gotta be something. I thought that
as two guys who are currently planning weddings.
It's a grind. I've only been engaged for like 5 days.
Here's my take, and I've said it before, and I always say, ask me when I'm like 3 months away from my wedding. It's not that hard.
You just gotta say yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like you gotta like book a
yes.
You have to make like 6 phone calls and like book a few things, and then it's like
I'm more of an in-person guy. I don't think I'll do phone calls. Not my thing. Either way, I also
mall to make your phone call.
Yeah, I moved house. I thought that was a community award. Is that what's the NHL community today?
Oh yeah, what is that one?
I thought that was a Bill Masterton. That's
no. That's overcoming like adversity. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't.
Willie O'Ree.
That is the one.
Yeah, there we go.
He'll win that.
Okay. 6 awards. Christopher Palmer, you're gonna regret that statement in June, Tyler. Yeah, maybe.
Which one?
Tyler Mulick, another Tyler who is also engaged, says it's really not. So he's with me. People saying congrats, Liam. They missed the show on Tuesday or Monday.
I'm a bit disappointed because it's people who watch the show all the time.
I know. I think it was Lance who was like, Liam, say the engagement story. We said it Monday. And go back, listen to the old episode. Shout out Charm Diamond Centers.
Yeah, it was Monday.
Yeah. AJ says, Ty, your fiance is going to roast you for saying that. She's really not because she's on the same page as me.
She's watching.
Yeah, she is watching. She doesn't miss a show. All right, let's continue along, Liam. We're going to do some bold predictions in a little bit for the calendar year of 2025. We're going to talk a little bit more Oilers, obviously, because it's Oilers Nation every day. But for now, let's get out to the Star Mechanical guest line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about them online at starmechanical.ca. Residential, commercial, 24/7 emergency service. Really, the only thing they can help you with is planning a wedding. Hello, actually, maybe they can.
They're probably good.
Let's hit up Red from Star Mechanical, see if he's got any wedding advice for us. But let's bring in another Tyler who's planning a wedding, and Tyler Ennis. Are you with me? It's not that hard. Everyone makes way too big of a deal out of it.
Yeah, actually, the nice thing about my fiance is she's not hoping for a big grand wedding. So at least that's the conversation we're having right now. It's probably not going to be a big thing. So that's nice for me.
You're still overseas? I recognize this log cabin look behind you.
I am. I'm still in France.
How was your Christmas, your New Year's break and everything, and out in France?
It was good. So we, my fiance and I, we went up to Switzerland to hang out with her family for a few days. We were also down in the south of France for a couple of days with the other side of her family. So lots of travel, lots of wine. Lots of foie gras, which is, I think, a duck or something like that. I don't know what it is, but I ate a lot of it. And yeah, lots of fun. So lots of traveling. I was tired, but it was a good holidays. What about you guys?
Mine was awesome.
I didn't leave the 6-minute radius outside of my house in St. Albert where both sides of our parents are. I did nothing.
I got engaged, and I also just bought a house, not in the last week, but this is the first Christmas where everyone's been like, I'm going to come to town and see your house. So all I've done is host people for the past 10 days, and I love them all, but I can't wait to not see them until next Christmas.
Congrats.
You said congrats.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Aaron was laughing at my joke.
Are you a New Year's resolution guy?
No, I'm not. I don't do much of that. I don't really keep up with everything that I got so much going on. It seems like sometimes I forget about half the stuff that I plan anyway. So I should probably maybe focus on that a little more. But up to this point in my life, I have never done a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I'm not a New Year's resolution guy. My brain works more on the hockey calendar of things as well. Like if I'm going to make a resolution, it's probably at the start or at the end of a hockey season. Let's get into the hockey, though. One thing I was surprised, I was looking back at your career because I wanted to ask you about playing in an outdoor game. You never played in an outdoor game in the NHL? That's
true. I never did. I always wanted to, never got the chance.
Is there anything else in your career, like little things like that? I guess a Winter Classic's more than just a little thing, but as you sit and look back, are there any things where you're like, it's maybe not winning a Stanley Cup, whatever, you're like, damn, I wish I would have done like that or had like that experience?
Yeah, I think the one that stands out mostly is the Stanley Cup. But the Winter Classic is something that I know the guys all really like. It is fun, and especially at such cool venues and great cities, historic places. I know the families get involved, they all join in, so it would have been something I really loved to do. Other than that, I mean, when I was in Buffalo, we went to Prague and we started the season over there. We played in Helsinki, Finland, and we started in Prague as well. That was fun, but mostly when I look back on my playing days, the thing that stings the most is not winning a Stanley Cup, and I didn't even get out of the first round. So it's very hard to win.
I have a good follow-up to that. I mean, we got to go to the Heritage Classic here in Edmonton last year. Watching an outdoor game was sick. I mean, this can be a hockey answer, or you can go totally outside of hockey. Now that your playing career is behind you, what's on your just like sports viewing bucket list? What do you want to see?
That's a good question. I would say my dad and I have always wanted to go to a UFC event. Maybe in Vegas or something like that. I used to watch it a little bit more. I haven't paid as much attention lately. I think the Masters is one of my bucket list things. I would love to do that. That's probably the two big ones, I would say. Over here in Europe, I know they love like F1 and stuff. I don't have a ton of interest in that, but yeah, I would say those two big ones.
The Masters would be amazing.
I'm pretty sure, aren't the darts world championships on right now somewhere overseas?
They are going on right now.
That's it. You're a flight away from seeing that. That'd be fucking electric.
That would be a good time.
Moving on to the Oilers conversation. Over the weekend, they beat the Utah Hockey Club. Zach Hyman is now playing, and he skated this morning too on the third line. What was it, with Henrique and Kasperi Kapanen, right, Ty? But the question is, do you think Hyman is good enough to drive his own line with guys like that? Sorry, it's Yaremchuk, not Henrique. Or do you think it's a mistake to move him away from Connor McDavid?
I don't think it's a mistake. I think Connor Brown's a great player. I think he's familiar with McDavid. I think he's playing really well right now, and he's showing, why the Oilers signed him again and had faith in him. I think Zach Hyman is an amazing player too. I think Zach has shown everybody how great he can play, especially with Connor. Do I think he can drive a line? I think driving a line, if you're gonna drive a line, you're more of a possession player, in my opinion. You have the puck on your stick. You're the one kind of dictating the plays. I think Zach is one of maybe the best complementary player in the NHL. He goes to the net, he gets pucks back. He's a forechecker. He shows great finish. He had 50 goals last year. So I would say he's a great piece. He's an amazing piece. He might be the best third liner as he's slotted right now in the league. And those lines are always going to change, as you've seen throughout the season. The lines have changed many, many times. So if Zach Hyman's on your third line, you got a great team.
AB, can you flash those up again? Because I want to take this in another direction too. Like, you talked to us about the adjustment that comes with like learning how to play with a McDavid and Draisaitl. I also do think there's a little bit of value in like, okay, give Connor Brown a bit of a run with McDavid. We've seen Kapanen have a run now with Leon Draisaitl. Janmark's gotten up there in spurts. I think Adam Henrique is a guy I'd like to see get some shifts up as a winger in the top six as well. Like, that way, come playoff time, if there's a rash of injuries or someone's struggling and you need to slot one of them up there, you can, there's that experience, right? And it's not like you're putting, Brown up there for the first time in 14 months or whatever, right?
I agree 100%. I think exactly what you just said. The fact that they've had guys kind of go up and down the lineup, like you said, Kapanen, Brown, Hyman, you said Henrique's, been a top line player his whole career. I think the more experience, the more time certain guys can play up and down the lineup is going to help, because in playoffs there's going to be injuries, and this forward lineup is super deep. So I like what I see. It's going to be interesting to see how the lineup looks, soon when the trade deadline comes.
Yeah, I think that is a good point too. It's crazy that we're only like 6-7 weeks away from the dedeadline hitting as well.
It'll probably start happening trades right away.
Things will heat up. Frank Cervelli trade targets. Hello. We gave you a bit of homework. I wanted you to give me your list of teams who are in the true Stanley Cup tier. Our guy over at Daily Faceoff, Scott Maxwell, did his kind of quarterly look at it, and he listed Carolina out east with New Jersey out east as well. Then his two from the west were Edmonton and the LA Kings, which is crazy when you consider how people viewed the LA Kings at the start of the year. But if you had to give me like a group of teams that you think are good enough to win the Stanley Cup as they're currently constructed, who would be in that group?
I would say if I had to bet my money on a few teams right now, I would say, and not because I'm an Edmonton guy, but I would take the Oilers, I would take Vegas, I would take Florida, and maybe the Leafs. I would say those four teams. So two from the west, two from the east. So yeah, I think those would be four cool combinations too. LA, love Jim Hiller, love DJ Smith, love what they're doing in LA. I just think that anyone that plays Edmonton, you got to beat them in 7 games. I don't see LA beating Edmonton in 7 games. I think if Edmonton plays a team in the playoffs, they'll have the toughest time against Vegas in 7 games. Dallas is not playing as well as I expected them to. They've always kind of been the team I thought was going to succeed in playoffs. Toronto and Florida. Toronto's playing a different style now, which is maybe more of a playoff style, which is why I think that they could go deeper. And obviously they got so much talent, and Florida's the champs. So they didn't make many changes to their lineup. Same group, tough to repeat, but those would probably be the 4 teams I would pick.
I completely agree. I actually don't think it's that hard of a task to put those 4 teams together as a title. The only one I would put in there, like I would maybe say the Devils is like my 5th option, but like you got to have game breakers in the playoffs, and that's why I don't think the Kings are part of this group at all.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up too. You had Jim Hiller in Toronto, didn't you, for a bit?
I had Jim and DJ both in Toronto. They're amazing. So I cheer for them. I obviously cheer for the Oilers. I'm just thinking on matchups. I think playoffs is all about matchups, and I agree with you about the game breakers, and that's why I usually don't have Carolina taking the next jump because of those game breakers or the lack of in Carolina, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens.
What kind of coach is Jim Hiller? I mean, I think the players in the Kings have kind of enjoyed the breath of fresh air that's come from having Todd McLellan, who I think kind of has the reputation of being, a bit more of a traditional hard ass kind of coach. But what's Jim like?
Jim, I had as an assistant. He ran the power play in Toronto, and he's a great guy. I mean, I've never had him as a head, and oftentimes, your coaching style or philosophy is different when you're a head as an assistant. But as a person, he's an amazing guy. Great guy, funny, loves having, light energy around the room, people enjoying themselves. But then obviously when the game time comes, you're ready to go. And I think the balance of him and DJ is great too, because DJ is high energy, but also I think they really value, the human side of the game, and they value enjoying being at the rink, and I'm super happy to see that they're succeeding. And I love when good people do well.
I want to wrap up with a World Juniors question. This current team, Canada, is making the headlines right now for kind of all the wrong reasons. Yeah. They can't score. They're undisciplined. There seems to be no chemistry. I know last time you were on, we talked a bit about your World Junior experience. Do you kind of feel for these kids when they get thrust into a tournament and like the chemistry doesn't click and it feels like the issues are just snowballing and compounding?
I feel for them for sure, but it's not over. There's so much time left. Yeah. I mean, they have to find them. They got to find it. I think in Canada, it's tough because it's in Ottawa. There's so much pressure, especially when you're that young. You haven't really dealt with that amount of pressure before. I think the important thing is that they've dealt with adversity early. They just need to make sure that their egos are checked enough that they can, combine to form that team, that they don't worry about who's playing what minutes, who's on the power play. I saw Dave Cameron's comments about disciplining players and stuff. And, I had him, he was an assistant on our team. He was a great guy. But I probably don't agree with his assessment that you can't, bench guys in a short tournament. It's a short tournament, but if someone is not playing properly or being undisciplined, you got plenty of other good players that can, take the minutes, and we'll see. I mean, I don't love the tone of the interviews either. Like, it's right there for you. You've lost a couple games. Who cares? Go forward, and gut it out. It's what it comes down to.
It's such a, the group stage is obviously important around robin, but you're right. Like, they still got so much to play for. They play Czechia today. They should be able to beat Czechia with the talent they have on that roster. The big other conversation around it too, and I'll put you on the spot for this one. Was there anyone from your World Junior team that was a surprise cut? Because that seems to be a big conversation now. How is this guy not team? This guy, was there anyone from your year that didn't make it?
So much happens, and that's why I talk about the ego, because like our year, Jared Spurgeon was probably the best D-man at camp. He didn't make the team. Nazem Kadri was there. Matt Duchesne was there. They both got cut. In my case, I was slated to start the tournament on the first line with John Tavares. I was all excited. We didn't really mesh in the first couple exhibition games, and I got dropped down to the fourth line. Fourth line was with Jamie Benn, though, which is a great player. We had good chemistry. And I think the key for our group was that you kind of got to let the guys that are going to be the power play guys, going to be the lead dogs, even though you're a lead dog back in your junior team, let them be, and you go do your job. You play your role, because winning is way better than, maybe playing more minutes and losing, or shining in the tournament, but losing. So, so much happens in that short span with guys getting cut and, not playing. But yeah, I would like to see Canada have more energy, even in those post-game interviews, because it looks like they're deflated. You got so much to play for. Go get it.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, you've lost 2 games, but if they're the only 2 games you end up losing,
then you're winning.
You're winning gold, right? You're at that stage now. Tyler, appreciate your time. Appreciate the insight, man. Thanks for doing this. And when are you coming back? When do you start traveling back to Canada?
I don't think I'm gonna be back for a while. I still gotta figure everything out. But I'll let you guys know kind of what's happening and stuff going on over here. Right now, it doesn't look like I'm going to be back anytime soon. So
ominous.
We will see, though. I'll keep you posted.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Enjoy. See ya.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Former NHLer, former Oiler, former World Junior
star. It's true, though, isn't it? Like he said, he was on the first line, fell to the fourth line, but no one remembers that. However many years later we are, all people remember is that Tyler Ennis won a World Junior gold on that team where Jordan Eberle scored that crazy goal. And everyone, it's so true. Like some guy, it's driving me nuts, this whole World Juniors team.
You're legitimately stressed about it. Well, you came into the office and you were pissed today.
Well, I'm annoyed at a few things. One, I agree. The comments from the coaching staff, I think, are absolutely ridiculous.
You can't bench guys? Sure, you can bench guys. It's you on a team like that where everyone, like Tyler said, he was on the fourth line.
Yes.
He was a first round pick. You can bench guys and elevate guys. You have skill.
100%. They have the best team on paper in the tournament. And the other thing that's frustrating the crap out of me is everyone's saying, this guy should be on the team. This guy should be on the team. When was the last time you watched that player play? Probably never. You probably heard of that player 2 weeks ago. It was Bennett Seneca, whatever his name is. Great player. Do not get me wrong. You have not seen that guy play ever. You have not. You saw his highlights on draft night. I was like, 3rd overall pick. How's he not on the team? So, yeah, maybe. But how do you know he's not better than whatever? The lineup is what the problem is. It's not the actual talent. It's the way it's being executed is the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fair enough. Fighting Amish is in. Poor guy living in France, drinking great wine, eating amazing food. What? Telling me Tyler Ennis doesn't want to come back to Canada when he's living like that? Damn. All right, let's continue along, Liam. Let's get to our Sherwood Ford Giant question for the day, brought to you by, guess who? Sherwood Ford the Giant. Hockey fans helping hockey fans. And with Nation Valet service, you will never have to visit the dealership again for your car service. They will come, pick up your vehicle, drive it to the dealership, do whatever work needs to be done, and then drive it right back to you while you're at work, while you're just sitting with your feet up watching hockey. It don't matter. They're hockey fans helping hockey fans right in the heart of Sherwood Park. Shout out to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant. Here's your question, Liam. What are your boldest predictions for the 2025 calendar year, both Oilers and NHL? Do you want to start Oilers related?
Sure. So do you want to go? So I have 3 for both.
I have 3 as well.
3 as well. Oh, I wish I didn't put them in the sheet.
You wanted to hit me with them.
Yeah,
surprise me.
Okay, so I'll start with I think the lightest one, and I just want to say, this is not me calling out this player, and I do not want this to happen. I just think it's kind of realistic. Evander King gets traded over the summer. His cap is trade protection is changing on March 1st, I think it is.
Yeah, so
I think they'll keep him for the rest of the season because I do think he's a value piece of this team. But just with his injuries, he's getting a little bit older. Those power forwards don't exactly age well. If you can get if you can get 40 games out of him, or even just 24 for the playoffs, whatever you need, then I think you say thank you, Evander, for your time. Enjoy wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just the perspective, you do have to free up a little bit of money for the eventual Bouchard extension, for the eventual McDavid extension. Yeah. I mean, Stuart Skinner is going to need a new deal in a little bit as well. Mulick says he gets traded at the deadline. I don't think he's getting traded this deadline, even though his trade protection does shift on March 1st. Yep. goes from a full no move to a 16-team no trade. I think this summer is realistic. I mean, it'll probably be a relatively tough conversation with him depending on how the playoffs go, but I think that's $5 million where when you look at how the forward group's going to shape up for next season, I realize we were getting way ahead of ourselves, but your top 9 is McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge, locked in. Arvidsson's under contract, probably bringing him back. Henrique's under contract, there's 6. You're going to have Matt Savoy probably playing in your top 9 next season. That's a pretty fair assumption. So you want 2 open spots there. You're maybe looking for a couple of upgrades. Kane might be a spot where you're just looking to upgrade and maybe get a guy who you can rely on to give you 82 full games. Like at 30, he's going to be 34 years old next season.
He's not a young 30 anymore.
He's not, right? So the idea that he's going to continue being the same player, and again, we like him in the playoffs and whatnot, and I know last year he was banged up. Not only does he fight injuries, he fights consistency issues in the regular season. There are 15-game stretches where you're like, what is this guy bringing to the lineup? There's a reason he was getting demoted and benched as much as he was last season. So I'm with you on that. I agree with it reading your next ones that it is your lightest, but it's not your lightest by far. But yeah.
Do you want me to keep going on mine?
No, I can do one.
Okay, go ahead.
Connor Brown signs a multi-year deal this summer with a different team. I think this run he's on is great. I think he's totally rejuvenated himself. When you look at the side-by-side numbers, like last year in 71 games, he had 12 points. He's already at 18 points. He's already at 6 goals. He's going to score more goals this year than he had points last year. He is actually rounding and becoming the player the Oilers thought they were getting last season.
So do you have the numbers on him? I got a stat for you.
Give it to me. Stats and facts.
To start the season, Connor Brown had 1 point. On November 6th, he got his 2nd point of the season. Since then, in 24 games, he has had 17 points. He's plus 10, with his highest amount of ice time was 14 minutes, which came against Boston, which makes him the 5th highest scoring player on the Oilers. I think he might have to chase the bag. He missed the bag.
He kind of did.
But now he can get it back.
Yeah, so I could definitely see him getting like a 2-3 year deal at like a $3 million. I could see him getting the Fogle deal, honestly.
Maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, less. You're right. Less.
But I could see him getting like a 2 or 3 year deal, like just over $2 million.
Don't clip that part of me saying the Fogle deal. I regret it. But 3 years, $2.5 million bucks. He'll get like $7 million guaranteed from someone.
Maybe somewhere around there. I could see it. Or the Oilers give him the Yaremchuk deal.
Yeah.
One of those 2 things will happen.
3
He'll
years
sign or he'll stay. I'll go. Damn it. That would have been great.
Talk about bold.
Yeah, like Gord says, $10 million over 4 years. Like, how old is Connor Brown? He's Brown, 30. I could see a team doing that, honestly. Being like, yeah, we're gonna just throw him in our bottom 6 for the next 4 years, and it might. I don't think it'll be a playoff team. I think it'll be one of those teams like a Chicago who's like looking for a little bit of veteran help, a PK guy.
Yeah,
still, 30 is relatively young. Like, yeah,
great Kraken.
Oh, I think the Kraken. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Maybe the Kraken love signing guys like that. Okay, prediction number 2, Liam.
The Oilers will go on at least a 10-game win streak once. Is that? I don't know if that's that bold. I think
no, it is.
Bold.
Winning 10 in a row is hard.
Yeah, I'll say they do it at least once. I could see him doing it this year. Do you remember? I forget his name, and I should remember because you watch the show a lot. Gentleman put in our chat that if he would give us $1,000 each if Stuart Skinner and the Oilers went on any kind of run this season, and he was like part of it. I wonder if that 5-game, like little gauntlet streak they went on. I wonder if that would do it. I wonder if we get that money yet.
I don't think we're going to get that money.
I told him we didn't want it and just keep watching the show, but I thought that was funny. So, yeah, 10-game win streak.
So you got my second one is the Oilers and Utah end up making a trade. And here is my logic for this. Someone earlier was like, hey, are there Nick Bjugstad rumblings? What are you hearing?
Boy.
I'm not hearing any of that. I went and did like a quick kind of scan around. I got nothing on Nick Bjugstad, although he is a pending UFA, so it would kind of make sense. But here's the right side of Utah's blue line. And all of these guys, except for Robert Bortuzzo, are signed and have term. Bortuzzo's a pending UFA. Okay, they have him for this year. And then for the guys who are locked up, Maverick Lamoureux's on his ELC. They love him. Michael Kesselring's got 1 more year, then he's an RFA. They apparently love him. John Marino under contract 2 more years after this one. Sean Dursey under contract for like 4 more years after this one, or 3 more years after this one. This season, once everyone eventually gets healthy, which, I mean, who knows if they will, I guess. But This season, once everyone's back, they have 5. They're playing Olli Mata on the right side right now because they actually have on the left side, you can see here, Sergachev, Ian Cole, and Juuso Välimäki. So they have all of these righties. They actually have a decent amount of lefties and guys who can flip over. Utah's not in a spot where they're going to sell. We established that. We talked with Cole Bagley the other day about it. But if you could make some sort of a hockey-ish trade, I think there's maybe something in Utah. And listen, would they be willing to move Michael Kesselring at 24 years old with that kind of a contract? Part of me says no, but part of me says when you have Dursey, who's 26, and Marino, who's 27, and Lamoureux, who's 20, yeah, maybe Kesselring isn't that crazy of an idea to see if he'll shake loose. I think the Oilers and Utah are really good trade partners.
Yeah, they also have...
You could send money back the other way if they want to add scoring, and if they're looking like a playoff team, maybe you can convince Jeff Skinner to go.
Maybe. I don't know if Kesselring is the right guy.
He would look so good next to Darnell Nurse, man.
If only they had drafted a player like that. People keep saying Liam O'Brien. Liam O'Brien didn't play. His last game before last night was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Last night, Saturday, whatever. What day is it again?
And we know the Oilers want to add some toughness to their bottom 6. They won't trade Jack McBain. We know that. But
he also makes $1 million the next 3 years. What are we trading him? Josh Brown?
1 for 1. But I can see it. And someone, it was Mulick, who was like, Marino didn't want to sign here coming out of college. Like, why would he want to play here now? I kind of get that, but also, I don't know, time. I get he's an American.
Connor
maybe
McDavid.
Yeah, but like if you were to go to him and be like, hey man, you have a chance to play with Connor McDavid and play in the playoffs. Like he also only has an 8-team no trade list. So unless he's one of those guys that just outright blocks every Canadian team on his no trade list, I don't know.
Yeah, the other part about it too, if I'm remembering, I am remembering correctly. The Oilers drafted Ethan Bear and Caleb Jones the same year they drafted Marino. So I'm pretty sure Marino was like, there is no path for me to like make the NHL team.
The story on him was that his brother like put together this case for him of like, these are all the teams in their depth charts. This is where you're better off signing. So you have an actual chance of like making it to the NHL. And the Oilers were at that time loaded with young right shot defensemen.
Yeah. So didn't work out.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Your third?
My third. Connor McDavid will break Wayne Gretzky's most assists record in the finals, which is 10. Gretzky was also suspended one of those games.
In a cup final?
Cup final. According to the stat sheet, it was against the Bruins, I think. So, yeah, McDavid will break that record, 10 assists in the final. I just feel like if they get there this year, he will not be denied. And he will not allow his play to define the outcome of the tournament.
Yeah.
Final.
Like we got earlier on in the show. I thought Lance paid to put in his cup year thing. Like last year when we were at this point and Lance and everybody was saying cup year, say it's a cup year, say it's a cup year. I was hesitant. I was not saying it was a cup year. This year I am so confident in this team.
Yeah.
Like they are built to win the Stanley Cup this year. They're going to make a move. They're going to get a right shot D-man. They have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They have a goaltending duo that did it for him last year and got him to the cup final.
Yeah.
The path, sure, it's hard. It's going to be hard every year. Vegas is always going to be good. LA's good again. Like the teams in the Central are good again. I love it, but I get it. It's a cup year for the Oilers. So yeah, I love that your prediction involves Connor McDavid going supernova in the cup final, because where I was going with that was I think this is one of those scenarios where if he gets back, you're right, he won't be denied.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those, whoever the Oilers play, over. It's like quick. Bang, bang. 4 or 5 games over.
Who do you think it could be? Do you agree that the Leafs and the Panthers are the best 2 teams in the
I'm
East?
still not there on the Leafs.
I'm closer to the Leafs than I am like New Jersey.
Yeah, I get that.
Stolarz is
Depends on
interesting.
Stolar's health.
Stolarz is an interesting piece. I don't know. The East is weird. Like Boston's not that good.
Also,
Tampa's like kind of on the outside.
Anthony Stolarz is like almost already at the point of playing the most hockey he's played as a professional. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, that is actually a layer of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets injured. So who knows the longevity?
Yeah, I really don't think, like, if I was ranking, I think the Oilers, Florida, and Vegas are the 3 best teams in the league.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid top 3.
And then Toronto would be my 4th team. From both sides, and then the Devils.
Yeah.
We'll get to more of my predictions on the playoffs later.
All right. My third and final one, you did your 3, is that by this time next year, Stuart Skinner has an extension. it ties in a little bit to playoff success. I think he goes out in these playoffs and he is rock solid right through. I think the Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup. And I think this summer they announce a Connor McDavid extension. They have that piece of work done. And then Stuart Skinner, as soon as he is eligible, gets his extension as well. And it'll be, I think, more than the Blackwood deal, but I bet you it comes in with a little bit of like a hometown discount in there. But I bet you Stuart Skinner ends up with like a 6x6 point. What's his number? 7.4. That's probably too high. 6 year by $6.4 million extension.
What did Blackwood get? Sorry,
so Blackwood just signed, and Blackwood went for 5 years at $5.25 million. So Skinner gets an extra year and an extra like $1.25 million. So yeah, 6 years by $6.5 million. Stuart Skinner's extension.
I mean, I did say it was going to be $9 million once upon a time, and then walked back on that pretty much immediately because that was silly of me. Naeem remembers.
But can I say, if he plays well and the Oilers win the Stanley Cup this year, that conversation's happening again.
Again, not that high. It'll be interesting. Like I don't really know what to rank him on like a contract level because he's that old and like he doesn't have the numbers that like your elite guys would have. But like if you're making the finals and if he can do well again, then yeah, maybe the conversation gets a little bit higher. I think it'll be no less than 5.5. They get him on like a 5-year deal. Yeah. So yeah, he's going to get signed this year at some point.
Just quickly, I wanted to talk a bit more about Stuart Skinner before we get to our NHL predictions here, Liam. His numbers since December 1st, and he played good against Utah once again, but look at these side by side. This is numbers on the year as a whole. So not before December, but the year as a whole, 897, 281. Yeah, again, like not great, but it's a tick below league average. Since December 1st, a 913, a 233, still facing basically the same amount of shots. But for this guy now, he's gone 5 straight weeks of playing 913 hockey for the Oilers. Yeah. I just don't understand the people who are still complaining about him. Like, we know he starts slow. That is the book on Stuart Skinner. But he has done this now back-to-back seasons. You could basically say 3 straight years where he struggles, and then turns on the Jets and is one of the better goalies in the NHL.
Yeah, this is no surprise to me at all. He's been really solid for the Oilers. I think the Oilers collectively everyone's just kind of stepped up their game, but Skinner as well has been in moments too where it's like those numbers could actually probably be a little bit better if like Evan Bouchard didn't make a mistake in front of him against Tampa Bay, and then also against Senators. There's a couple of shutouts for you right there. If it kind of trends that way, of course, anything can happen. But he's been really solid, and even if you want to take it back to November 1st, 906. He really was just that first month where he was brutal. That 600 save percentage he had against Winnipeg is kind of holding him back massively. I love Stu. No matter what you all say, I will defend him.
We are the Stuart Skinner show.
That's why I have a mustache. He's my inspiration.
A lot of Oilers probably hear some stuff we say about them and maybe don't like us. Stuart Skinner has no reason to not like us.
No, he should actually be on the show with us.
He should go on the show maybe one day. Local boy.
He'd fit right in.
Yeah. You're a local boy.
I'm super local.
All right, let's get to our NHL predictions. Liam, what is your first one?
The Ottawa Senators will make the playoffs this year. Sorry, I'm very slouched in my chair. The Sens will make the playoffs. I went and looked. So they're obviously in a playoff spot right now. They've kind of turned the season around after what was looking brutal for them. They have like the 4th easiest schedule for the rest of the season. So I'm all in. I'm all in on the Sens making the playoffs.
Linus Ullmark helps.
I think they can be a top 3 team. I think the Bruins are more likely to fall out than them. And plus the Bruins are still there, 3 more games played. I like them. I'm a fan of them. I like a lot of their players. I think they're bound to be a first round exit, but that's fine. You got to get in. You got to get into play.
Frank and I did a similar exercise today on DFO Live, and one of his was that the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to take a step back, and someone in the comments called them Grandpa Bay, and I can't. I keep thinking about that and just laughing my ass off. It's
Grandpa Bay. That blue line is awful.
It's old.
Yeah, it is old. They're kind of carried by Kucherov and Braden Point. Even Vasilevsky, I don't know. Like, he's obviously still a great goal, and I'd take him any day of the week to try and win a Stanley Cup, but he's not the guy he used to be. which isn't surprising.
Someone is in and says, Matthew, imagine Leafs and Sens in the first round.
Oh, that'd be unreal.
What an unbelievable way for the Leafs to lose again. Like, that is just top tier shit. You can't write it better than that.
To the little brother.
Them, like the Leafs going up 3-1 in a series against the Sens and choking that shit away would be so good.
Special. That would be special.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should hope for that.
Grandpa Bay. It's good. It's good. All right. My first one. By this time next year, the Islanders are considered a lottery team. I hate the Islanders. I hate them with a passion. They are painfully boring. I don't think they're a well-run organization in any way, shape, or form. And I think we see them take a big, big fallback in how they're perceived in the next year. I mean, hey, right now, their .461 points percentage. The only teams who are worse than them in the East are the Rangers, and it's barely the Rangers, Sabres, and Red Wings. So they're already getting pretty close there. But like, I think, and again, we've been saying this for years, but like Buffalo eventually will get better. Detroit should get better eventually. Montreal should get better. And I just look at the Islanders and I'm like, you're not getting better. You're going to get worse.
I completely agree. I don't like anything about their team. I like Noah Dobson. He's obviously good. Ilya Sorokin, he's an awesome goalie too. But like, there's just not a very good future there, which is a shame because when we saw them in the finals a few years ago, they went to the Eastern Finals, sorry, back-to-back years. It was kind of fun to watch him. I thought that fan base was really great during the run, and just like we haven't seen that, and that was almost also their fault in all of this because Lou Lamoriello has just decided, we made the Eastern Finals 2 years in a row, 5 years ago. I'm not changing a thing. Surely these guys who are already middle-aged and in their early 30s will just keep getting better. I had an interesting debate. And it wasn't a debate. It was a conversation over Christmas with my fiance's cousin. 3 teams in the state of New York: the Rangers, the Islanders, and the Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a general manager and you were like, you had to pick those 3 spots were available, how would you rank them today?
I still think so.
Based off roster.
Yeah, so like I would take the Rangers because that would be the easiest spot to rebuild because you're going to get free agents and all of that stuff. You have the money available to you. Based off roster, oh man, it's so hard to not pick the Igor Shesterkin-led roster with him signed and extended.
I think it's the Sabres.
I know. I think it's the Sabres too, but like
you get 2 guys.
That young blue line in New York, I'd be tempted on though.
The blue line in New York?
Braden Schneider, Adam Fox.
But you're not tempted by the Sabres potential there?
That's a good point.
Darlene and Owen Power?
Oh, it's close.
It's
but it's definitely not the Islanders.
Definitely not the Islanders. That's a clear number 3. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Sabres, of course, none of those teams are making the playoffs for sure. But I don't know. I think I could be swayed by the Sabres. I don't think they're that far away.
I don't either. They just need to make a big trade. They need the statement deal where like you look at it and go like, whoa. Bold, but like good on. They tried to do it with Nate, just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So that was my first one. What's your second one?
You might know more about this. I think Martin St. Louis might get fired. I was thinking about this yesterday for whatever reason. The Montreal Canadiens are just kind of staying right here. The rebuild, I don't think it's not going bad. It's not going great.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Louis just seems like a guy who's just flying under the radar. He has a job in the NHL and no one wants to get rid of him because his name is Martin St. Louis. I don't think it's going to happen this season, but if they get off to a bad start next year, I would not be surprised by at the end of November. It's like, St. Louis is fired. What do you think?
I don't think it's out of this world. Like I do think it's entirely possible, so I don't hate it. My second one, Liam, and I only did 2. I was lazy. But this one's big enough that it counts as 2.
Okay.
One of Mikko Rantanen or Mitch Marner are playing for a different organization next season.
Mikko Rantanen or who?
Mitch Marner. One of the 2.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know there's been kind of some talk that Mitch Marner and the Leafs are going to work out a deal here, but I think that's entirely dependent on playoff success. Like, if they lose to Ottawa in round 1, Mitch Marner is not coming back to that city.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, the Avalanche and Mikko Rantanen thing is weird right now.
There's not a lot going on.
First off, he's won. And we talked about this with Draisaitl last year, where like, if you want to guarantee Leon Draisaitl comes back to Edmonton, the best case scenario was them losing the way they did. Because it's unfinished business. It's I want to win it here. We were so close. I want that feeling. I will take 8 more cracks at it with Edmonton. Rantanen's won. He has his ring. If the Avalanche are doing we have a cap, you do not make more than Nathan McKinnon if you are a member of the Colorado Avalanche. Mm-hmm. That could lead to them losing Mikko Rantanen. I think that when teams do that shit, and we've seen it time and time again, it is the laziest, dumbest way I think you can run your organization. And if I was a player agent, I would be standing up so hard against any team who goes, we have an internal cap. You don't not make more than this player. Rangers tried to do it with Panarin and Shesterkin, and she had to cave.
Yeah.
Right? Or no, did they end up caving? What did he end? Yeah, he got a bit more than Panarin.
Yeah. As he should have.
As he should have. Oh, and people are saying Rantanen to New York. Like, yeah, man, I could totally see that.
He's a Finn, right?
Yeah. If Rantanen sits there and goes, I want Leon Draisaitl money, I think it's totally deserved. I think with the cap going up, he's one of the few guys in the NHL who is a consistent 100-point guy. And you can say, oh, he gets to play with McKinnon. Don't care. You can put that guy with any centerman. He's going to put up a shitload of points. If the Avalanche are sitting there being like, no, you don't get to make more than the deal Nathan McKinnon signed 3 years ago when the cap was less. If I was Rantanen, I'd be telling him to pound sand.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's silly not to let players go for that reason.
Yep. What's your third one?
Mikko Rantanen to the Carolina Hurricanes, anyone? They have $23.5 million in cap space next year.
With no Natchez, though.
No, they have mine Natchez next year.
Send a 2-year deal?
Yeah, it's $6.5 million next season.
Oh, wow. I thought he sent a 1-year deal.
No, a 2-year deal. So that's my prediction right now. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, the cap is also still at $88 million. They've just on Puckpedia hasn't been updated yet. Well, I guess it's not confirmed. So my final one, my boldest and not so boldest and funnest of all, the Winnipeg Jets will be eliminated in round 1 no matter what.
Don't matter who they play?
Don't matter. They could play no one. They could get a bye.
Still
and
out?
would be out.
All right.
It doesn't matter to me. Last season, Connor Hellebuck had like a 920 save percentage in the first round of that playoffs. And they still lost. What was it in 5-6 games? Was it 5 games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See you later, Winnipeg.
Liam, you heard it here first. Yeah. Jets are cooked.
The Jets are not cooking.
They are not.
They are cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Get cooked. Connor Hellebuck, sorry you signed there. Man, imagine if they didn't sign. I'd be so curious to see what the organization would be.
Yeah.
Why is Kyle's NHL, he said it twice, announces expansion?
Nah.
There's not enough talent in the league.
Expansion would be a poor idea. But terrible I do think they are addicted to getting those checks. How could you not be?
So relocation, I'd say, is more likely of the two. But I also don't think
there's no one left to relocate.
That's what I mean. It's not that likely.
Expansion's more likely than relocation.
No, and not in the next, the league is so far away.
I know.
I just think there's not even close to enough talent on some.
We're thinking of it with logic. They're thinking of it with dollar signs in their eyeballs, like they're cartoon characters.
I think you ruined the league, to be honest. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, the U.S. dollar situation, that's interesting too. I mean, Canadian teams might honestly be pushing for expansion, being like, yo, if the dollar's going to be this bad, we need to get ourselves like a $60 million check.
Jets would be one of those teams.
Yeah, they would be. Someone just said that in the chat as well. Ryan said it. Kevy, poor idea. The NHL will do it then. Fair enough. Hey, probably not. You guys were all great today in the YouTube chat. YouTube chat, as always, brought to you by our friends at Odd Company and the all-new Nation Beer Everyday Lager, a crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Okay, we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. Shout out to our friends at Odd Company Brewing. Let's wrap up the show with some bets, Liam, for our friends at Bet365. Download the app, use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Shout out Bet365. All right, couple of lines here I think are interesting. Rangers host the Bruins. It's a pick'em on Bet365.
The Boston Bruins and New York Rangers.
Pick'em.
That seems dumb. Give me the Rangers.
Bruins are only 5-4-1 in their last 10. Rangers are on a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, again. It doesn't matter to me what the record is for the Bruins. I need to know
who's home?
The
Rangers, which is why it's close, but still.
Yeah.
Also, the Rangers are starting Jonathan Quick.
He might be that better goalie. No, I'm joking.
Well, Jonathan Quick, as of late, has been so in his last 3 starts, 5 goals on 30 shots, 3 goals on 24 shots, 6 goals on 21 shots. The Bruins are the bet tonight.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Or maybe the Leafs minus 115 over the Islanders.
Ding, ding, ding. So Here's where I'm going. Bruins, Leafs are my next one. And then I like the over between Buffalo and Colorado.
Is Blackwood starting?
Honestly, Buffalo scored like 17 goals in their 3-game winning streak, so I didn't even look at who the starting goalies were. I was just like, oh, Colorado's going to score a ton on them, and Buffalo should be fighting. So
yeah, that's a good one. Canada obviously played today against Czechia. If you want to go out there and do that, US up 3-0 right now on Switzerland. Canada minus 358 on the money line. Any thoughts on doing that?
I'll throw them into my parlay.
My favorite part to do is go to the player props on there and look at the goal scorers. Canada's not been scoring a lot of goals. Gavin McKenna, who will probably see 11 minutes of ice time tonight, thanks to Dave Cameron, despite being the best player on the team, plus 125 anytime goal scorer.
You know who I think is going to score today for Canada?
Who?
Logan
Stanko.
Jet Lachenko, another L name. Jet Lachenko. He's going to score plus 240.
Yeah, he's your pick.
Lock him in.
I like. I don't like any of them. Lachenko, guy played in the NHL this season, playing fourth line for Canada. Not because he played bad, just because that's where they've just left.
Predict Bo Akey's time on ice.
Oh, 3 minutes, 2 seconds.
Minute 12.
Yeah, that's way too high.
Yeah.
He's averaging 3 minutes, 3 seconds.
Also Shesterkin is on IR right now.
Yeah, that's right.
My one, the next Notre Dame or Georgia. I know people in Canada don't care about college football.
It's a big game.
It's a big game because it's a playoff game.
Yeah.
Georgia don't have their quarterback right now. They have their backup who's starting his first game ever. He's gonna lose, I'll tell you that much. Notre Dame minus 120 on the money line.
Gunnar Stockton. Interesting. All right. Okay, that is a wrap on today's edition of the show, everybody. Tomorrow, game day, keys to victory, all that fun stuff. So we'll be around with our usual game day fun. Jay's not here, though, because he's going to Mexico. But he's still here to do real life.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Keep sending us ideas for what to put behind me right here. It's very empty. We got to do something.
Somebody said a giant banner that says "Cup you." I knew you wouldn't like that.
Feels
not
bold.
Terrible idea. Not even a terrible idea. Shout out to Tyler Ennis, all you guys in the YouTube. You were great. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Mountain Time. Oil up.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation Every Day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit OilersNation.com.